Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Preimesberger, editor of eWEEK. Thanks for joining us today for the latest segment of eWEEK eSpeaks. It's a conversation series in which we talk to thought leaders in all sectors of IT. Today's topic and today's interviewee is Brett Davis, who's an executive vice president at iXsystems. It's a storage company based on open source. Brett, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Give us a little bit about your background, Brett, where you're from, where you came from, and a little bit about iXsystems.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So iXsystems has really spun out of BSDI in the 90s, and BSDI was the company behind the BSD operating system. And so that's really our heritage is steeped in FreeBSD and open source, et cetera. It dates all the way back then. However, we've been storage focused since 2010 when we became the corporate sponsor of the FreeNAS project. And FreeNAS was the world's most popular software-defined storage, or has become since then. 11 million downloads, 1 million deployments, exabytes under management, et cetera, et cetera. And so we've been involved in open source and delivering open source, what we call storage freedom, to companies since about 2010. And I think that about covers it.
Okay, that's great. And tell me, how iXsystems serves its customers. Now, it's built on the zettabyte file system, which goes back over a decade. Was really ahead of its time, as I recall, when I wrote about it a long time ago. And it's a very fast file system, and that's one of the core elements of it. What else is in it that is attractive to buyers?
Sure, yeah. So when we took over the project in 2009, we rewrote the software from the ground up. We integrated ZFS, as you mentioned, and really our goal has been to democratize enterprise storage. So by integrating the ZFS file system, we were bringing a truly enterprise file system to this open source software. Sun had open source ZFS, so we continued that legacy and have delivered ZFS into more hands now than all ZFS distributions combined. And that's what we continue to do. So, of course, ZFS is well known for all of its enterprise features, for all of its data protection, data integrity, BitRot protection, and as you mentioned, some of the performance features as well. And so we've extended that now with the Open ZFS community. We've integrated that to our TrueNAS product, and now everything resides under the TrueNAS brand banner. So FreeNAS is now called TrueNAS Core, and it's still free, still open source, still unencumbered by license. And we have enterprise appliances called TrueNAS Enterprise, which deliver high availability and enterprise features that are necessary to keep the storage available around the clock. And we're also announcing TrueNAS Scale very soon here, which is going to be the industry's first open source, hyper-converged, and scale out software. And you can think of it as scale out ZFS. And so that's going to be launched here. We're very excited about that as well. And of course, all of those versions from TrueNAS Core, TrueNAS Enterprise, and TrueNAS Scale are all managed with the same user interface, have the same user experience. So it's not a different learning curve for each software version. They're all the same. So it's a unified kind of look and feel, unified user experience, and can be installed on any of our hardware.
Okay. So how does iXsystems work? Is this usable by a line of business person to use this, or do you really need to be pretty well trained in IT administration to work it? Because the trend now is for software to be the user interfaces are so much easier to use now that more people at a company can use them. Is this really an IT function or not?
It's a good question. I think storage can be very complex. However, we've definitely TrueNAS has been called the easy button for ZFS. So we've really done a lot to try to make it as user friendly and easy to use, so that it doesn't require an actual storage admin to monitor and administer. But and we've done that through some of our user tools. We have a single pane of glass manager that manages all versions of TrueNAS. It's called TrueCommand, and that allows role-based access control, so you can have admins of different skill sets or different permissions monitoring or managing different elements of the storage without having root access to everything. So that does, lower the barrier of entry, so you don't necessarily need a storage administrator per se.
That's good. What kinds of companies are likely to be customers for iXsystems?
Well, I mean, we look at our customers in two different categories, really. We have our open source user community, which is vast and broad, and ranges from just folks using it, building their own systems in their home to make little media servers and file storage, etc., all the way to Fortune 50, even on the open source side of the coin, on the TrueNAS Core software. So, and then for the enterprise appliances, I mean, we really don't necessarily target vertical markets. We play in a lot of just forward-thinking companies that are looking for ways to stretch their storage budgets, find alternatives to restrictive, vendor-locked enterprise storage vendors. And so, I mean, our customers, you can see on our website our list of customers. It's fairly impressive. But we've all four branches of the U.S. military we count as our customers. We have large deployments at the UN, at Reuters, at Cisco, etc. So we cover a lot of markets.
Very cool. Did not realize that. Yeah, open source really is the glue for IT, I think, around the world in many different use cases. There's no question about it. In fact, it's so pervasive that we just kind of take it for granted a lot of times. I have a lot of great respect for the open source community, and having worked at Linux.com, the open source tech group in years past, I got to understand the community really well. And it's really a testament really to iXsystems that you're using the open source tools and the components to build this and save people money, time, and effort. There is plenty of service availability too, though, from the company for customers. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we provide enterprise storage. We provide full support for all of our appliances 24/7 around the clock. I mean, TrueNAS Enterprise is designed to be highly available. So our support is as well.
Is it a cloud service, or is it on a server only in the data center, or both, or what?
Both, yeah. So it's actually available as an AMI in AWS. It's also TrueNAS Core is also available in Azure as well, but primarily the enterprise version is delivered on appliances.
So it's a complete control storage environment that can work with a cloud provider like Azure.
Yeah, absolutely. And our TrueNAS Scale takes that even further by enabling hybrid clouds, in a much simpler fashion.
Excellent. And if people want to go to get more information, where would they go? iXsystems.com or what?
That's correct. iXsystems.com. You can also go to TrueNAS.com to download TrueNAS Core, take a preview of TrueNAS Scale, which launches next week, and take a look at some of the appliances and hardware that we offer for all the versions as well.
Excellent. All right. I want to thank you, Brett Davis, EVP of iXsystems, for joining us on eSPEAKS today.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good luck going forward. And for all of you following along on this version of eSPEAKS, thanks a lot and have a great rest of your eWeek. Thanks for joining us on eWEEK eSPEAKS. Go to eWEEK.com to hear more conversations with IT thought leaders.